Imagine picking up the phone and calling a marina in Australia and asking them to catch you a 5 meters long shark. Then you hire a group of technicians to stuff it into a big glass box filled with formaldehyde. You give the whole thing a crazy long name and sell it for 12 million bucks. Boom, how easy it is. It may sound a little bit crazy, yet according to a book by Don Thompson called The 12 Million Stuffed Shark, this is exactly how it happened in 1991. The artist who came up with this idea and made it happen is Damien Hirst. Not only did sharks sell for such an insane amount, but Hirst even produced and sold out about 10 more sharks. He also sold a stuffed sheep for over 2 million bucks. Since this shark, he has had several other species of animals, including cows, sheep, zebras, and other stuffed into a box of formaldehyde. How the hell is this even possible? Who would pay such a sum for a 2-ton piece of meat that has caused many artists to question whether it is even a work of art and which will probably rot sooner or later anyway? How's that, for example, the works of the old masters, which are technically almost perfect, are not worth as much as stuffed shark, which was not even created by artist's own hand? It may seem that originality and the art of shocking are worth several times more in these times of globalization and social media than the honest work that has brought humanity to where it is now. In this video, I don't want to judge whether it's bad or good. I'm just saying that's the way it is. Basically, it's a very simple principle. If you can do something better than anybody else, and I'm not just talking about painting right now, but nobody knows about it, it's basically useless in practical life. There have been plenty of good, extraordinary people in the past, scientists and also artists, of course, that nobody can even remember nowadays. Me personally, I think that the quality of the artwork is not the most important thing, as it seems. On the contrary, sometimes perfection is hidden in simplicity. It's probably clear from my own work that modern art has never been my cup of tea, but still, this book got me thinking and looking at my work and approach to art from a completely different perspective. What I learned from the book, I processed into 3 rules that I want to share with you, which I believe will help you to find your own path to success. All 3 rules in this video are quite simple. There are no big secrets, not at all. Anyone can follow them, including you. But that doesn't mean they are easy to follow. In fact, everything is easier said than done. Despite what has been said, that they definitely work, even though it is not easy to follow them. First, do what you love and don't listen to naysayers. Hirst had a lot of haters trying to question what he was doing because of his work. Still, it's reported that when he was about 42 years old, his fortune was over $100 million. That means the guy knows what he's doing. Hence, the first basic rule behind every success, it's quite simple and requires no special skills. Just do what you love and what you are passionate about. If you are doing what you love, you are not really working. You're just having fun. If you have a goal and you are serious about it, you will need a great deal of motivation to overcome all the challenges that await you on the road to success. This may sound like some motivational bull, but trust me, if you want to achieve something in your life, you need to have your big whys. I have one good idea for you. If you need motivation, check out some videos with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He may have nothing to do with art, but his rules are perfect in my opinion. And it can be applied to any activity. If you want to be successful, you must be the Arnold Schwarzenegger of the arts. Number 2, do things differently than others. I know, this is much easier said than done, but an example of how it works is Hirst's other crazy installation, which consisted of a case where flies hatched and made their way through a glass partition to a rotting cow's head. They were then electrocuted on the way. I prefer not to imagine what the whole installation looked after a few days. 1,000 Years, which was the name of the whole installation, was eventually sold, of course. The fact that Hearst shocks people in order to get attention is not only about the content of his work, but also about the titles and especially the prices he demands for his work. If a shark was just called a shark, it's kind of boring name. But he named the whole thing the physical impossibility of death in someone else's mind. That title already sparks a debate about what it's supposed to represent. Anyway, I've stuck to the Things Differently system lately, and believe it or not, it's the only reason I made it to the finals of the ARC competition in the States for the second time. For those who don't know what the ARC is the largest international realism art competition in the world. I'm not shocking anyone compared to Hearst, and I don't intend to because it's just not in my nature. But what bothered me about my own work was that it was too normal and therefore boring, you know. There are simply thousands of painters like me. One of you will simply get lost in the flood of great painters. So, with this idea in my mind, I decided to paint a little differently and create two paintings that, as I said before, made it to the ARC finals. When I think about it, you can trace a major Hearst influence in the last paintings of the skulls. I call the painting The Beauty of Afterlife Consciousness. The title alone will provoke a debate as to what it's supposed to represent. Technically, this painting is essentially the underpainting stage. Perhaps if I paint it over with another layer, as I usually do, it would have blended with other paintings and would not have made it into the finals and into the final stage at all. Because the painting looks differently than the other paintings, it has the chance to be placed. Okay, so there are incredible numbers of good painters in the world today who are technically better than you or me. Does that mean I can't be more successful than them? For the answer to this question, I will return back to Arnold. Do you think he is the best actor in the world? With all respect to him, I think we can agree that he's definitely not. But what set him apart was his persistence. Despite hearing everywhere, no, you can't do that, you have a long and weird name, a strange accent, and a body too big for an actor, he didn't listen to what others said. And now, everything that others criticize, he turned into his advantage over time. None of the actors of that time had such an American name and weird accent, and that's what makes him so distinctive and memorable. The rule number 3: become a brand. Getting back to Hearst, he didn't catch the shark. He didn't taxidermy the shark himself. He just made the whole thing up. It's worth a lot of money because it is just Damien Hirst's brand. As I mentioned before, the crazy price was, like the title, meant to shock, and it damned well did. It may have pissed a lot of people off that a stuffed shark was labeled as art for 12 million bucks. But even negative advertising is advertising, and maybe even better than positive one. Imagine that someone shows you exactly the same paintings and wants to know your opinion on which one you bought. Now, you will find out after a while of thinking that one of these paintings was created by a well-known artist, and the other painting is just a technically perfect copy of some student. Once the first painting has been given a brand sticker, the choice is clear. The same applies to clothing, for example. A hoodie of the same quality from the ordinary market will not have the same price as a hoodie market with Adidas or Nike logo. Even if it is exactly the same, you would rather choose a branded one. In today's global world, if you are not a brand, you have no chance to succeed. This is true for everything. And I'm not just talking about the work, but how you present everything. The work, your appearance, the presentation of what you do, all of these make up your brand by which everyone will judge you. So guys, let's zoom it up again. Do what you love and don't listen to naysayers. Number 2, do things differently than others. And number 3, become a brand. If you will create according to these rules, you are gonna be successful for sure. Simple, right? See you next time. Bye bye.